Are you trying to navigate this crazy thing called life? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Unraveling with Rayne. Hey guys, so we originally were trying to do this on YouTube, but through our many technical difficulties tonight, we are here with you guys on Facebook still. But introduce you guys to Krista Patterson. She is co-owner of Northwest Paddleboarding, and she's gearing up for her, big year coming up with the warm weather and everybody wanting to be out on the water, and including myself. I'm really excited about that. So thanks for joining me today.
Of course.
Awesome. So we know that you're doing paddleboarding now, but where did this all start for you?
So I was a personal trainer before paddleboarding. And I taught group classes, and I was a body flow instructor, and then I became a yoga teacher, and I've taught Buddha yoga as well. So that's kind of been since my business. So yoga has kind of transitioned into my business, because then I teach paddleboard yoga now. So before I was a personal trainer, I was working at a gym, had lots of clients, and I knew I always wanted to start a business. I just didn't know in what. So it wasn't like paddleboarding has always been my passion, and then I decided to open a business. It was kind of the other way around, where I've always wanted to open a business, specifically with my mom. So we've kind of always joked about it, but also thought it was going to be real one day, hopefully, cross our fingers.
Yeah.
And then we tried paddleboarding, and we were like, this is super fun, and this isn't really around here.
Yeah.
And so we kind of found the opportunity, and we're like, yeah, let's definitely do that. And I had tried yoga on the paddleboard, and that's what I was like, this is actually a thing elsewhere, and it's not here. Let's bring it here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what got the business started. So we really had focused on the yoga aspects of it, and now we're branching out and opening it up to racing and moonlight paddle, all sorts of different types of paddleboarding, different classes, different opportunities.
Nice.
And then, yeah.
So you first went out paddleboarding with your mom?
Yeah.
And where did you guys do that?
With Columbia Kayak Adventures here in town. They just shut down, or actually they're transitioning out of the shop that they were in to kind of be mobile like we are now. But they taught some intro classes. It was only a few classes throughout the summer, and we registered for one and took the class and just fell in love, and we're like, yeah, let's do this.
Nice. That's so cool. So I'm assuming you and your mom are pretty close then.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. I'm an only child.
Oh,
so,
are you?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're best friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I have, 2 brothers, so I have no idea what it's like to be an only child. But my husband's an only child, so I get a glimpse into that world every once in a while.
Yeah, it's weird. I now have siblings because I'm married.
Right.
So I have his brothers. And yeah, so.
It's nice to have siblings, yeah?
Yeah. That's why I want a big family, because I think being an only child when I was younger was not boring, but I always thought it would be cool to have a big family. So now I kind of have one.
Yeah.
Once you get married, and then not just immediate family, but yeah.
That's awesome. So I always had this thing, because there's 3 of us kids, and I always felt like one kid always kind of had to play by themselves while the other 2 played together. And so now that I had this rule, I thought, I'm either going to have 2 or 4 kids. And now that I have 3, I'm like, well, one of them's just going to have to get used to playing on their own every once in a while. Because I'm not having 4 kids. So,
yes, I have 2. I wanted 5, but 2 is 5. So what I thought 5 would be, my 2 are.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
We're good at 2. We'll stop now.
I feel you. So how do you find that, juggling a business and family and all of that?
Yeah, I don't really know. You just make it happen, right? When you're thrown a bunch of stuff, or you take on a bunch of stuff, which would be my case. You kind of just make it happen. I don't really know how I'm doing it. I get asked that question a lot, but I'm like, how do you juggle it all? Yeah, I don't know. I just do, I guess. I don't. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all find ourselves in that boat. We're like, I could have done that better. But, it all works out in the end.
It is nice, though, that I'm seasonal.
Yeah,
so in the winter,
that's true.
I do have more time with my family and can focus on them. sometimes too much time. It's not, I'm also like one that likes to get out and be with people, and but right now I'm home with my kids until the season starts, and then I'll basically be away from them for 3 or 4 months basically. So
it's good to soak in that time while you can.
So that's kind of my balance, is having a seasonal business, I guess.
It's all about balance, however we can find that in our life. Totally. So tell me about your journey as a personal trainer, because that's kind of where this started, right? So how long did you do that for?
I only did it for about 2 years, I think. Maybe less than that. But I started in the gym, and then when I was staying home with my daughter, kind of before I got into the gym, I started taking the test, and then I got my foot in the door by working just at the front desk of a gym, and then eventually they were able to promote me over to the training part, and then I transferred to a different gym. And worked there as well, and kind of through that process is when I became like a group instructor. I got more certifications, so I took more tests and things like that so I could offer more to the clients I had, and then I liked group instructing, so like body flow was really fun. I loved teaching that, and I did like some small group stuff as well, and then being a yoga teacher was really fun, so it kind of just transitioned along. My mom's a nutritionist.
That's perfect.
Before we started our business, so we were like, I guess we just kind of, that might be why I got into personal training. I'm not really sure why I got into it in the first place. I don't know where that like little ping of passion came from, but it was my passion for a little while, and it was really hard when I was a personal trainer to get people to, like any other personal trainer can probably relate, it's super hard to get people motivated to come, and that's what people hire personal trainers for, and I'm like, I don't know how to motivate you, like please just come to your appointment, don't skip it, I promise you won't regret it if you do. But it was so hard, so having the transition into paddleboarding and paddleboard yoga, people don't think that they're coming to work out, but they are. So it's kind of like I'm still a personal trainer, because you're probably going to go home and feel sore later, but you don't think about it at the time. It's super fun, and so I love that kind of is the path that I went down, is still like keeping people active, and outdoors in this case. I always loved training outdoors, so a lot of my clients, I would be like, okay, so we're in the gym, but it's nice outside, so we're gonna go take this equipment outside and do it out there, and so it was a perfect transition into like paddleboarding. Is to keep everybody active and healthy, and they just don't know it now.
Right, and I think that's one of the biggest things as far as maintaining physical fitness, is you have to find something that you're going to want to do all the time, or find like 2 or 3 things that you can alternate between that you really love to do.
And paddleboarding is like full body, so it's perfect. It's like the perfect cross training, so even people who do love to be in the gym, it's still great and sometimes difficult for people, because it hits on everything. It hits like the yoga aspect of balance, trying to stay up on the board.
Like when we were talking about it, I was like, I'm so scared, because what if I don't have the core strength, and what if I fall off? And you're like, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You fall in? Like, that's not so bad, especially in the summer. It's hot outside. Some people jump in.
So you guys can laugh at me in the back as I'm falling off my board. And
that's what everyone says. And most people say it's easier than they thought it was going to be.
Really?
There's just very few people who are like, oh, that's as hard as I thought it was going to be. Most people say it's easier, especially for paddleboard yoga.
See, I don't know. That just sounds really intense to me.
That's what everybody says. And then you take a class and you're like, okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So you keep your center of gravity really low and close to the board. So technically speaking, my paddleboard yoga class is easier than a normal paddleboard class, because your center of gravity is low. You don't have the paddle. It's floating in the water next to you, like attached to your leash. You're anchored down, so you're not going to float away.
Okay, this is sounding better. Keep going.
And then you start seated. So obviously seated versus standing is going to be easier. And then we move to like hands and knees, we sit, we lay down. So there's not a whole lot of crazy stuff. We do come to a lunge, but there's option of kneeling lunge. I try to keep people on their board for it. So it's not as hard as it seems.
Okay, all right. Now I'm feeling more confident in my abilities. Very cool. So, but you do offer, or going to offer other things, not just yoga, right? So give us a little bit more information on those.
So we started with 3 classes the first year we were open, and that was an intro to paddleboarding class, the paddleboard yoga, and then a fitness class. The fitness class wasn't as big, and now I'm getting more requests for it, so we're probably going to bring it back at some point, at least for a special event, like burpees and things like that. Squats. Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe a squat, but a freaking
burpee. A burpee? I mean, you can attempt, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? You fall in.
That's true.
And then the second year, we've kind of expanded our offerings a little bit more. We started offering rentals. We did a couple of tours. And then the year after that, which was this last year, 2017, we continued to expand. We are offering moonlight paddles now.
Right.
We do private groups. We offered more tours and different options of tours, so we tour different places. Like our most popular one is from Leslie Groves to Columbia Point, where we buy you a drink at Lulu's afterwards.
I'm in.
So yes, that's our most popular one. And then we kind of expanded. We did one down to Sacagawea, and we had Karma Juice. And then there's a few more, and then this year we're expanding even more, so we're getting another instructor.
Nice.
Yes, I'm super excited for that. So far, I've taught every class that we've ever had.
How are you feeling about relinquishing that?
I am nervous, of course, because it's hard to trust, anybody to have the same amount of passion you have and show that to people. But it'll be good. It'll be good. And so we're going to have another instructor. We're going to have a lot more intro classes. So the last few years, we had like 2 classes a week, and then we moved to 3 last year. And this year, we're probably going to have 6 intro classes, which is awesome. And then we'll continue our SUP yoga. Moonlight paddles is where we have our torch paddles, and we just got another shipment, I guess, of torch paddles, so we'll be able to offer more space in the classes.
So what's a torch paddle?
It's just got LED lights, so it's got batteries in it, and it has LED lights, just like 3 light strips on the paddle, so we can go out after dark. So we start right when the sun is setting, and then by the time class is over, it's pitch black outside, and we have these super lit up paddles, and you can see under the water with them. So every time you stick the paddle in the water, you can kind of see under there. Sometimes you see fish. It's super cool. And then, let's see. So Moonlight, we have kids class as well. So the last couple years we did a SUP school where it was a program, and they came for 3 weeks. But this year we're starting something a little bit different. We're going to do single classes. That way kids who have crazy summer schedules can still have the chance to come. And then we'll be able to get more kids through the classes as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have a kids class once a week, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a lot more tours. So we're going to have 1.5 tours a week. So 1 every week, and then 1 every other week.
Okay.
So we'll still have a lot of our Lulu's tours where we get the drink at the end, but there will be a lot more different ones available. And then we are opening our shop too.
Right.
So that's super exciting. We've been mobile so far. So if you rented from us, we had to deliver it down to the water for you, which has been fun. And we have a lot of different launch locations, and all of our classes are at different locations, and that part will stay. We'll still have delivered rentals, and we'll still have classes at different locations, but now we're also going to have a home base, so we can expand on rentals. So we'll have a cheaper rental price if you come in the store and just go down to, it's in Howard Amen. So it's, if you go down Lee Boulevard where that cul-de-sac or that roundabout is at the end of Lee Boulevard, we're just kind of up from that in the parking lot over to the side where Columbia Kayak used to be.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to open up shop there, so we'll have rentals straight out of there. That'll be a little bit cheaper, easier, because you don't have to schedule a delivery. You can just come down when our store hours are open, which will be really nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to help more people that way.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to expand our retail side of things. So we've sold boards, but typically you have to meet me down at the water and demo all the boards and decide from there, where now you'll be able to just come in the store and look, but also be able to demo. So hopefully it just will really, really expand our business, but it's also nice to have a home base, because before it was like, well, where's your shop? Well, I work out of my house, kind of.
We have to meet up somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be nice to have, and I'm excited for that.
That is really exciting. Going from mobile to, like, storefront, that is such a big move, and, like, I feel like it gives you kind of like a home base, you know, like, this is where we are.
Yes.
You come visit us, we're here. You don't have, like you said, you don't have to coordinate a meetup time, you know, just come in, stop and chat for a while, even if you want to.
See us.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool. So moving forward into, like, what you want to see with the Tri-Cities and paddleboarding in this water recreation type realm here, what you want to see out of that in the Tri-Cities, I guess?
Well, I definitely want to see our water used more. So we're a big, like, boating community, but we don't have a lot of water recreation. The stuff that we do have is typically right off of Howard Amen, so it's a very busy, like, congested place. We have, like, jet ski rentals out of there. We have paddleboarding, of course, kayaking. So that's where kind of all the action is right there at Howard Amen, and it's our prettiest shoreline. It's the place that everybody goes to hang out, like, by the river if you don't have a boat.
Sure.
But
for all of us shore dwellers.
Yes, exactly. And that's, like, the only really spot we have to, like, hang out by the river.
Yeah.
There is Columbia Park, but it's just not, like, established, I guess, enough that it's, like, the place to go. It's typically Howard Amen. It's where, you know, you can get in the water and swim along the Columbia Park shore. It's a lot of boulders, and I mean, we have boat races and stuff like that, but it's still just not as developed as I'd like it to be. So obviously that's a lot of work. The few people who I've talked to is, like, even just the smallest change will probably not happen. Even if you work on it every day from now on, won't happen until you're retired.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, well, that gives me lots of hope. But I would really like to help work towards that. So I'd like to, you know, moving forward, I'd like to get into how I can help with that and how, you know, we can enhance our shoreline in the Tri-Cities and have better access to it. So we have, like, Chiawana, Wade Park, we have Sacagawea State Park, but hopefully we can get more people, you know, getting passes so that you can go into the state park. And then even up the Snake, we have some different parks. And a lot of people, when they come to a paddleboard class, they're like, I've never been here, like Two Rivers Park. That place is beautiful, but there's so many people who have never been there. So I'd really like to introduce people, I guess, to more of the parks along the river that they don't know about.
Sure.
And then just somehow trying to figure out how I can be involved with just enhancing the entire Tri-City shoreline. So they are doing, like, huge improvements, especially, like, on Clover Island recently, and they're doing that village. They built the wine village down there, and they're enhancing the sides, so all the cliffs along Clover Island, but there's still so much work to do, and I feel like there can be a whole lot more.
Well, you don't want to cut it short.
We have so much shoreline, we're just not utilizing most of it.
It's, like, the main feature of the Tri-Cities.
And we're growing so rapidly, too. I feel like those places are going to get way too congested. And especially with Howard Amen being the main one, the parking is terrible. And you can't really fix that with how busy it is over there. So you kind of just have to, I feel like, expand along the river. So
yeah, definitely. I'd like to see that, too. That'd be really cool. Kind of spread us out a little bit.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how it's been building this business and, like, kind of the journey that you've gone on building this thing.
Well, it's been crazy, for sure. The first year, I didn't really have any idea what I was doing. I just pretended like I did. Actually, I feel that way still, probably. You just try your best.
Right.
Google's my best friend.
But, I should probably look that up, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know about that. I'll just Google it.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. It's been interesting. Gosh. The first year, I think, was just trying to get my name out there and get people to, like, notice who we are. And I still feel like even with the large community that we have, there's so many people that don't know about us still. And I'd really like to keep growing that. I've been a lot on the marketing side of our business. My mom is more of the, she's kind of my brain. She deals with a lot of the, like, organization, and she deals a lot with, like, scheduling and making sure, like, I teach all the classes, so she lets me know, you know, who's going to be in each class and what to prepare for, how many boards to have out, all that good stuff. But as a business owner, I I would still like to get to the point where I'm doing more business stuff than employee stuff, if that makes sense. So when you first start a business, it's very much you're doing everything. Like I have 1,000 different hats.
I was
like,
going to say you wear a lot.
Yeah. I'm the salesperson, I'm the purchaser, I'm the, like, I do social media, I do the cleaning, the washing the boards, I fix boards, I teach the classes and prepare everything. Like there's so many different hats to wear, and there's only 2 of us right now to take on all those jobs. So I would like to eventually build it to the point that I could step back a little bit and work completely on the business side of things. But I have also developed like such a passion for paddleboarding that part of me is like, well, I don't really want to leave teaching either.
You don't have to give it all up. You can still save a class or 2 for yourself.
So, but right in this last year, I think was the hardest. Well, I don't know. Actually, they were all kind of hard. The first year was the hardest because it was the first year, and no one really knew about us, so it was like a constant struggle to make sure everybody knew so they could register for our classes. There was a lot of things that I didn't anticipate.
Or just setting up how people are going to register for your classes.
Exactly. Figuring all that out and working out the kinks of this is not going to work, this is terrible. And then like things that came up that you have, I mean, that still happens, but in the first year I think it was the most prevalent of I didn't think about how often the weather would affect my business and how I have to cancel classes or reschedule things. And then when you try to schedule too perfectly, and I am kind of a perfectionist, so it's kind of hard to, you know, feel like everything is, oh gosh, the smoke from the fires, like things like that you don't anticipate, and then everything changes. You kind of have to be very flexible and open, and I didn't really think about all of those things in the beginning.
Sure.
And then things that don't work out. So as far as marketing, because that's my main part, there's a lot of things I've spent a lot of money on that did nothing for us, that didn't help at all. So
trial and error sometimes.
Yes, and that first year was the biggest like trial and error. After that, we kind of learned like, okay, this for sure doesn't work.
Yeah.
And this for sure does work. Facebook, for example, and our community that supports us has been the biggest help for sure. Sharing things, people sharing things, liking things, supporting us on their reviews. That has been so helpful. But then a lot of the like expensive advertisements and kind of figuring out who your target market is and things like that, that was the most difficult trial and error in the first year. And then the second year was a lot better. I did have an employee to help me out, or I had to have an employee to help me out the whole year because family planning doesn't always go the way that you think, and I was due with a baby in July, so
that was the perfect time to have a baby when you teach paddleboard lessons.
So the second year, that was the biggest struggle, was being pregnant and then having a baby and then recovering. My season is about 4 months.
Right.
So it starts like midway through May, and even then it's kind of slow, but just until September. So our main months are June through August. So being due, like, it was July 17th was my due date. I had him July 8th, but so I was pregnant the whole the half the season and then recovering the other half. So I could never carry a board because it was overweight. So I had to have a lot of help, and so that was the biggest struggle. That was just, you know, when you stop trying for a baby, it just happens. That's what happened.
That's usually how that works.
So that was the toughest part. But I feel like I handled it well. Sometimes I forget that I was pregnant that second year. I taught my last class less than 24 hours before I gave birth.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a private class at a doctor's house. So I just was like, you know, if I go into labor, I'll just call you down. Because he was inside. So that was funny.
Need you down here.
And then, I'm going into labor. No. So I finished that class and then went into labor, I don't know, the next day, I think. And then, within 24 hours.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Then I went back to work. I think I took 2 weeks off. But barely that, because I was still, like, doing as much on the non-physical side. I was still doing all the other things, like probably still laying in the hospital bed. But then I started teaching classes again 2 weeks after, I believe.
I did that after our last child, after our son was born, and it was rough. Like, I remember, like, my brain and my mind were, like, so ready to get back to work, but my body's like, dude, what are you doing?
You just had a baby.
You got a little bit more time than that. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, let's do this, you know?
Yeah, and it was kind of like, you don't have a choice. You only have a few months in business, and then you can focus on the baby and the family. So, yeah, had a lot of support there, thankfully.
That's
a lot
awesome.
of family support.
So good.
And then, so that was the second year, the hardest. And then the third year, the reason it was the hardest, they were all the hardest.
Right.
But the third year was probably the hardest because we had grown so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think we doubled from year 2 to year 3, our sales and classes and all of that. And I was still teaching them alone. So we haven't hired, our first instructor starts this season, so last year I literally did it. We didn't even have an employee, so I did it. My mom was obviously my brains and the behind the scenes and helping with everything with that, and then I was teaching all the classes, so physically it was the hardest year 3, but man, at the end of the summer I was like really strong.
Yeah, I bet.
I was probably in the best shape of my life.
Your kids are like, don't mess with my mom, really. She's tough.
So it was just physically demanding year 3. And then this year will hopefully be the best year yet, because hiring someone, getting a storefront, like already is crazy. So many different things that are happening right now that are kind of in the process that I can't share everything, but
fine, we'll wait.
I know. You can't. If there's a few things that it's like, oh, but what if it doesn't happen? But I already shared it. So
sorry guys.
But the
storefront
is for sure. Papers are signed. So but yeah, we've got just so many things happening. I know that 2018 is going to be the best year yet.
Nice.
Already. So
I'm excited. I'm so excited to get out on the water with you and to try this out and to show myself that I do have some core strength and
yes.
take.
Oh, if you don't, you'll get some.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming in.
Of course. And
sharing with us and all of your awesomeness and your struggles and everything. I really love this idea of bringing this to the Tri-Cities, and it's something like we talked about. I mean, the river is right through the Tri-Cities. Like, why aren't we doing more things on the water, you know? Yeah, so thank you for bringing that to us. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. If you would like to help support Unraveling with Rayne, go to patreon.com/unravelingwithrayne. When you become a patron, you receive bonus content such as behind-the-scenes footage, along with other special content that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Music for Unraveling with Rayne was provided by Barefoot Randy. Studio space was provided by Moody Logic.